Live. Awesome. So today we're going to do a Q&A. I'm going to be talking about spirituality, health, healing. We're also talking about holistics, which includes the spirit, the body, and the mind, religion, Jesus, Dr. Sebi. These are all the things that I want to touch on. It's right after Christmas, and someone asked me, Chrissy asked me in a comment, she said she would like to hear me talk about Christmas as I mentioned in one of my other live videos. And so thank you for commenting, and this is based off of your feedback. So I was going to talk about it in my last cooking video when I was making caramel, but I didn't really talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it now. We're talking about holistics, spirituality, healing, also religion, and Dr. Sebi, Jesus, and so on. Well, those are a lot of different really hot topics that are controversial as well. So if you don't like controversial things, you might want to tune out. But if you're okay with that, we're going to just be sharing some ideas, that's all. I'm not going to be forcing you to believe anything. And everyone, I respect your opinions and beliefs, but someone did ask me to share my thoughts on this. That's what I get for drinking live. All right, edit that out. So I'll be starting it over now. Welcome to the live video. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about Jesus, we're talking about holistic health, healing, Dr. Sebi, religion, spirituality, and how this all ties together, and we're doing Q&A, so you can ask your questions here and I'll be answering them. If you're just tuning in, let me know where you're coming from. Thank you so much, whoever gave me a thumbs up, I appreciate it. So let's get into this. Chrissy asked me in another video, thank you for your feedback. She said, great video, I would like to hear you talk about Christmas as you stated in the video. So I didn't get a chance to do that yet. And Christmas was a couple days ago, so we're going to talk about that in this video, live. Let me tune in to my own feed so that I can make sure this is all coming on correctly and the comments are coming in. So if you are tuning in now, please comment and let me know if you can hear everything. All right, thank you again for the thumbs up, whoever did that. So I wanted to talk about spirituality because it's very important when we talk about holistic health. Thank you. All right, awesome. Got your thumbs up, so I know it's working. So spirituality, like I was saying, is one of the parts of holistic health. You hear the word holistic thrown around a lot on the internet. What does that even mean? It means simple, three things: mind, body, and spirit. So our health is made up of these three different things, and sometimes it's the body, depending on the patient and depending on the situation. It's sometimes the body that needs healing, it's sometimes the mind that needs healing, it's sometimes the spirit that needs healing. Maybe you can relate to this in your own life. Depends on what you're going through. Sometimes a physical healing doesn't have a long-term result. Sometimes people need something spiritual. And I always used to wonder, I studied psychology for 15 years, and I always used to wonder why some people would go to religion and suddenly have a lot of their problems healed or reversed. And that's interesting because I didn't understand it at that time. I've come to understand more and more, and my awareness is still expanding. And what I've learned is that holistics is very important. A lot of people forget about the mind and the spirit, and some other people forget about the body. So you got to have all of them. You got to have all of them working. You have to be aligned. What does that even mean? And there's a lot to dive into here, so we're going to take questions. But I did want to talk first about Jesus or Christmas and healing, because someone, like I mentioned, commented and asked me to talk more about that. And if any of this, I'm going to just touch on a lot of different things. If any of this is interesting to you, you can always follow up with me later. And if this is really, really interesting to you, and you're really serious about it like I am, then you can reach out. There's a link at the bottom of the description to get a hold of me. Organic Life just tuned in. What's up, my man? Hello. Welcome back. I like to see some familiar people coming on, even though we haven't met in real life yet. One of my clients suggested that I do a live in-person retreat, which actually is the whole plan to begin with. This is just what I'm doing to get there. So that is the end goal. Well, not the end goal, but that's one of my goals, to get together in person, and we can either do a fasting retreat, we can do yoga retreat, we can do juicing retreat. Sometimes you have to leave your house. Sometimes you have to get away from your family. Nothing against them, but a lot of people contact me and have no support group, or their support group isn't interested in this kind of thing, and we should get together in person ideally and have some kind of event. Stay tuned for that, definitely in the future. It's not going to be immediate, but you are invited. Hopefully only good people are invited. So I'll have to vet them, because I don't want some, I love everyone, but I don't want people ruining the retreat. And so far, the clients that I do have are amazing people, and I would love to spend time with them in person. So this is what we're doing until then. We're going through social media, but ideally we would be face-to-face, of course. So talking more about, going back to the topic and talking about Jesus, just a little bit of background about me as far as religion goes, just to give you some perspective. I was born into, my family are somewhat religious, and they would consider themselves believers, and I did not understand what was going on. In fact, maybe was even traumatized a little because of the misunderstandings. So I didn't really understand religion until I was 28 and maybe 27. Something clicked. It was an epiphany. It was an enlightenment. I've had several of these types of experiences, some of them harder to explain than others, but a lot of what I talk about on this channel all comes from those few key moments in my life where everything changed. And this was one of those moments where, in retrospect, in the middle of one of these experiences, the reason I do air quotes is because it's a non-experience. It's not really an experience. You only try to describe it in retrospect, trying to explain something that just happened. And there's a lot of air quoting going on, because to me, in spiritual terms are difficult to explain in English. And I do speak another language, not fluently actually, but not natively. But I think for me, it's sometimes challenging to talk spirituality in English, because some of the words are emotionally charged. some of the words have connotations to them that cloud over the truth. And I'm going to attempt to talk about this anyway because I was called to do so, pretty much. That's when you get right down to it, I'm meant to do this. And as much as I tried to shirk my responsibility, you can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide from your destiny. And that's fascinating, but as life unfolds, my awareness does too. And I wish the same for you. That's probably why you're here, to expand your awareness. And Organic Life just asked a question. If you see me pause for a second, I'm reading off of my screen. Someone said, do you believe Jesus was a real person, and do you believe he was God's son? Well, let's just get right to it then. Okay, good keeping me focused. That's why I appreciate your questions, because it lets me know exactly what you want to know and where your mind is at. Well, I would have to say my beliefs are... I've studied beliefs themselves. Not necessarily belief in Jesus. I'm going to talk about belief itself first to answer your question, because belief is a fascinating thing and it's a very important thing. So we can use belief to our advantage and we can understand how it works. Our beliefs are controlling or predetermining, depending on how you look at it. And I'm flexible. I don't know everything. However, my gut or infinite intelligence knows everything and sends me, again, some of these words, I feel, even as I say them, better words could be used, and I'm still researching. So I research 7 days a week, and if I don't know the word by now, I'm not just going to wait around to talk about this until I know every single word. I think the time is ripe that this needs talked about. So if you're going to nitpick with every single word, because I studied philosophy in university, and the writing 15-page papers, and sometimes one word would change the entire meaning. So I realized that people troll a lot online, and if you're gonna pick one little thing I say out and troll me for it, then don't even watch, because I'm not perfect, and I'm just gonna... Some of this is a brain dump, some of it is pre-planned. It's a mix of both. And the spur-of-the-moment brain dumps, even though they might not be polished and exactly to the T, live is better sometimes to get the real moment. And even, I think you can get the meaning from my tone and inflection as well as words. So beliefs are tricky. Our beliefs determine our future. Our beliefs determine our present. Our beliefs filter our thoughts, and our beliefs filter our 5 senses. 6 senses. The 6th sense is the squeegeed third eye. So, do I believe Jesus was a real person? I think right now, yes. I didn't used to. But from what it doesn't have to be one exact, writing can be edited, writing can be manipulated, and this is a big part of it. This is a big part of the debate, because the Bible comes into it, and people get very violent, even defensive, crazy. People get very touchy about the Bible. And that's why I said at the beginning, if you're easily offended, then don't even watch, because I'm not perfect and I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to speak what is my mission to the mission that's been given to me and fulfilling it. So I'm trying to do it the best as I can, which means to communicate something to you which will spark something and then get a result. The result is really what you want. We can talk about the words and the semantics and everything all day, but it's really the result that I care about, that matters. And that's my intention, is to always improve the results. And that was Jesus's intention, obviously. I was reading the New Testament recently, studying it. Not just reading it for fun. I am studying it for a specific reason, because I've learned things and then experienced them myself to then go back to religion. And the reason I'm going to religion is not to get the healing. I got the healing. Luckily, thankfully, miraculously, scientifically. It was scientific, yet it feels like it was a miracle. I know it was not really a miracle, but I like the miraculous nature of science. Sometimes it seems like something is random, but really it isn't. So I'm more and more interested in what Jesus was doing as I was healed. And it's pretty hard to ignore that no medicine was used, and no doctors knew how to. And this was my life. I lived it. It's not something I can argue about with people that in comments where people question alkaline diets, which that's not even, most alkaline diets are nonsense. If you've heard me rant about that, I won't talk about it in this one unless you ask specific questions about it. But what was Jesus eating? What was Jesus doing? I was reading it recently and reading the New Testament, and it was very different than I remember it. It was very, very different than I remember it. I read it before. I read little bits of it and had it read to me as a child. And then I read it myself when I was a teenager, I believe. I'm sure I picked it up. And also someone sends me verses. Thank you to them. I don't think they're watching, but they're awesome. And my friend's family sends me verses, which sometimes they're strikingly accurate and relevant you can't ignore that thousands of years have gone by, yet what are we doing, and how are things going? How is people's health? And how are people's lives? Sacred orbs, infinite peace, love, and power, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. That's what we're talking about today, definitely. Infinite peace, love, and power. That pretty much sums it up. Let's just all meditate on that. And then, okay, so Organic Life says, be candid. We hear preachers preaching all the time. This new generation understands a lot of beliefs passed down are just generational curses. Interesting. And we are now breaking them. Ooh. I know it's not good for the continuity of the video, but I like to stop and think when someone says something. And that was a good statement. Do you have any way of getting in contact? Yes, there are links at the bottom of the description to contact me. I have a 12-week transformation program, and I do free consultations for people. There are links down there. Back to Organic Life statement. I appreciate your feedback. So, okay, I'll just be candid and just start spitting it out, because that's better anyway. That's what I like to do anyway. So, since you're agreeing, I take that as your permission that I can fumble my words and still get the meaning across. I'm seeing myself in the monitor and I just got really serious. So, Jesus was healing crowds of people. Crowds of people. Is anyone talking about this anymore? What's going on? That's why I want to talk about it. Holiday after holiday after holiday goes by. I'm living in the US right now. I've lived in Asia for years. I've been back here for years, actually. And I was back and forth too for a while. That gave me a lot of perspective about traditions, society, sociology. I studied cultural anthropology in Japan, and all this is swimming around in my head and adding to this conversation. It's all led me to this theory that I'm talking about. I think the Bible, some of it is real. Okay, it's exactly when I said that, I got the comment. It says, because the Bible is filled with lies. That's funny. I simultaneously said that. When one hears about Jesus, they don't believe that either. Exactly. That's what happened to me as a child. The enemies of it, this is how they hijack it, and this is how they hijack the alkaline diet, which, even though I make videos about it, I make fun of it too, because I'm looking for a new name for it, but until I have 1 million subscribers or whatever, that's just a search term on the internet, basically, for SEO. That's a marketing term. So let's get back to the Bible. It's sprinkled with lies. Just enough lies to get intelligent people like me and you to question it and then disbelieve it. Well, after revisiting it, I can tell what's a lie and what isn't. That's my angle. And I'm not saying I can tell perfectly exactly, but I feel like that's my talent. One of them is uncovering the rock and going, look, found it. I am like a detective about this kind of thing. It's just how I've always been. I've been like this my entire life. It's not a coincidence, and it's so obvious to me now that I should be talking about this. I'm actually in ministry training right now. I wasn't going to announce that because I don't know if I'm going to finish it for certain reasons. But I don't necessarily want to talk about that. I'm going to keep studying it just because. The Bible, the truths in there, when I'm reading the New Testament, it's telling a story about something that happened. Someone was telling an account of something that happened. But the problem for people like us that are super analytical and pick everything apart is that they just skip over. They just went, oh yeah, Jesus, and I should have a Bible in my hand so that I could go to specific verses because it helps. But they just say, oh, Jesus healed an entire crowd of people. Oh, and then he got in a boat and he went to another place. And then I'm reading it like, wait, what happened? Why did it stop? Tell me what he did. And like the way I'm reading the Bible is like on the edge of my seat. I was reading the New Testament like, wow, this is me rereading it recently after being healed, after going through what I've been through so far. It's a totally new perspective of what it is. It's me reading it. It's not someone telling it to me. It's not someone interpreting it to me with their own unhealthy nonsense. I can call out who is sick and who isn't easily. I don't want to. It's not my wish for anyone to be sick, but I can see usually from across the street. You know, you can tell once you widen your awareness, you can see physically, and that's physical, mental, spiritual. We're talking about holistics. There's 3 different things. We're touching on them all. I'm talking about spirituality and healing. So the Bible, this is what I'm getting to. Here's the point. And then we can get back into it and talk about the little details. The point is that my theory now is that religion is for health. And if you go back and look at it this way, not how the current pop culture or whatever, no, I'm talking about just go back to as original as you can get, to the source, and evaluate it, then thinking about health and living life. Let's say that. We could say life instead of health. They're kind of a synonym, really. We've got, you're either diseased and dying or you're healthy and living. In the extremes, of course, we're all in between, and a lot of people are heading that way, the bad way, unfortunately, which I guess I'm trying to save people. I'm not trying to be Jesus or anything, so I'm not perfect like I mentioned, but if I can help, that would be the best thing I could do. What else could I possibly do? That's what all the recipes are for, that's what all of it's for. Okay. Someone said, thank you for commenting. Someone asked my birthday. Are you gonna look up my astrology? I'm hesitant to tell you. I'm and then to have people analyzing my horoscope. I'm 21. Someone, Dion, oh no, I want to pronounce your name correctly. Dianira. Dianira says, I'm 21, wanting to become closer to God. Where do I start? Wow, great question. You already started. You already started and you didn't even know. That question tells me you already started, and keep asking that question. It's questions like that that are more important than my answer. I know that's a very Buddhist monk thing to say, but some people think Jesus was a Buddhist monk. I think he probably was. It seems like he was to me, but I don't believe it. I wouldn't argue about it with someone. I don't care. The results were good, so that's great. Oh, so you study numbers. Interesting. Well, I can talk to you about that later. I don't want to announce my birthday in case there are haters watching, because, actually, you're all great. You're fantastic. I love my followers, my subscribers. They're not mine. You know what I meant. I love you all for being you and However, there are some malicious people out there that do attack, and that's why I'm defensive sometimes. And that's why I had to get a black belt, because I'm a good person, and that's a target for narcissists, as some of you might have found out in your own lives. So Dhyānira, which, again, correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, should I start with the Bible or things like meditation? Feels like I'm just living to live. Living to live. So is that a problem? Is living to live bad? Or what connotation does that have? I'm trying to read the text and no purpose. Okay, so the purpose. So you're looking for purpose in your life. That's what it sounds like. I can definitely help you with that. And you have to sometimes inject purpose into it at first until you arrive at your obvious purpose, which might be clear to you subconsciously if you just cut out all the distractions. Just stop talking to anyone for days, even. If it takes that, it might not take that long, it might take longer. Cut out the distractions, get out a pad of paper. This is what I've done this more than once through the years, and start writing. Well, okay, there's several different exercises I can recommend. I was just about to make them into a conglomerate, combination of the different techniques of writing down your purpose or your goals. So here's a good way to start. Write down 20 things you love to do. This isn't that what you think I want you to do. This is not what you think your family wants you to do. This is what you want to do. Just write with a list of 20. And I know that 20 seems maybe not enough, but it might be hard for some people, especially if you are in a funk or feeling no purpose recently. And it's okay, I've been there. So it's not permanent. It's not permanent, and it can be better, but it's not necessarily going to just get better randomly either. This is how I end all my videos. I say, have an amazing day on purpose, and sometimes I add, because it's not just gonna randomly happen to you. If you've just got your hands out waiting for happiness and health and wealth to fall into your lap, you're going to be angry and bitter and everything else negative. But flip that. And here's the next exercise. You could start with this one too. Either one would be good. So write all the things you love to do. That's one list. Now I'm talking about a new thing. Get a piece of paper, blank piece. Edit. There's no editing live. Shucks. All right, someone tell me what I just said 15 seconds ago. This is, thank you for having my back and being positive. I lost my train of thought, which doesn't usually happen since I reversed my brain fog. I'm sharp as a tack, but now I'm having like 5 conversations. Okay. Okay, good. If I lose track, just ask more questions and then I'll just divert back to the question. Yes, you're very close with your name. Awesome. Dhyānira. If there's a rolled R in it, I'm working on my rolled R's. And I've been studying Mexican food. I don't just want to assume that you're of Mexican descent though, but I do know one person with that same last name. Sorry to offend anyone. I don't know how touchy people are these days. And I'm not judging. So you have bad anxiety and you're insecure. 20 things I love to do. Yes, the 20 things you love to do, that's one list. But I have another exercise. That's what I was drawing a blank on. So that's a good start though. Start there and you'll be on the right track. And then setting goals, I could go deep into setting goals, but sometimes setting goals, the way you do it is important, especially if we're talking about purpose. And you have to be flexible, especially with the short-term goals. It's the long-term goals that you can't be flexible with. Don't give up your goal, you might need to give up the way that you go about getting it. You gotta pivot often. I've pivoted on this channel already multiple times before finally something caught on. And it was the alkaline banana bread video that got traction and actually started boosting my channel. Out of all the videos I've made 200 videos, and the banana bread videos was actually my first viral, viral is a little bit exaggerating, but it caught on and got a lot of traction. So, okay, you're Honduran with the rolled R. Okay, I'm working on it. Working on the rolled R. Right now, I can do it if I focus on it, but if I can't do it in the middle of a sentence. So, but I have a lot of subscribers that are descended from Central America area, and I love all of it. So I'm interested in the culture, the food, and everything. But I don't know that much at this point because I was living in Asia, so that's a whole nother history, whole nother world. Organic Life said, do you believe in creation or the Big Bang? And do you think the world is flat or a globe? Wow. Wow. Man, these kind of things could have gotten me burned at the stake a couple hundred years ago. Can you believe that? They killed Galileo for proving that the Earth rotates around the sun. They killed him. Unbelievable. Well, I'm trying to stop saying the word unbelievable, because actually, the more your awareness expands, the more it's believable. So, do I believe in creation or the Big Bang? What's the difference? I'm not sure what the difference is. Do you think the world is flat or a globe? Well, that's interesting too. There are more dimensions than just a plane and a sphere. So a sphere can appear like a plane if it's big enough, depending on your perspective. So, I have flown around the world more than once, and I'm not 100% sure that the Earth is a globe. I'm not sure how it affects me either. So, how does it affect my health, my happiness, health, and my wealth? That's what that's my question to answer your question. And then as far as the creation or Big Bang, how does that affect my happiness, health, or wealth? I'm being very practical at the moment. To me, these are the kind of questions that you would have anxiety about all night when you can't sleep. Worrying about life after death. Worrying about, which I do have some input on that actually. Okay, so Organic Life says, creation says there's a creator. Interesting. for existence like God. And the Big Bang suggests it was an accidental explosion. Sounds like the theory, sounds like a crime scene investigation. Was there someone here to cause this explosion? Or was it an accident? Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't believe one way or another about this, and I know that that might drive some people crazy. Thank you for laughing with me. I appreciate that. I'm equally as serious to I am humorous, so I like to, sometimes I go back and forth, but I'm a very serious person, but you can't be like that all the time, or my muscles will tense up to the point of breaking, but I have to get a little humor in to not be bitter and negative. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. If everyone was like you, what would the world be like? No. The world is great as it is. We're in it. And we're all here watching at the same time. I'm really here as to help you have a gathering place as well, because we need to stick together. People that want to be more spiritual, people that want to be more healthy, we need to watch out for each other, no matter if we believe every single thing each other thinks. But my religious beliefs are scientific. That's where I'm going. I'm going, though there's that science, science. I've heard religious people say science is evil, and at the time I thought this person has lost their mind. But now I totally understand what they were saying. Science is used to manipulate ignorant people. That's what I've been learning. I'm a scientist. I have a science degree. I studied psychology, and I worked in the labs. So I understand the scientific method, and I understand questioning everything. Scientists question everything. You're not a scientist if you just say, oh, my theory is correct because I said it, and that's it. That's the philosopher's fallacy. I also studied philosophy, and that there's the philosopher's fallacy. For those of you that have never heard of that, it means Descartes said, I think, I am. Most people mistranslate that to I think, therefore I am, but really there's no therefore. There's a comma. It's I think and I am. So Descartians believe there's God because humans can believe in God, and it couldn't exist if, and I'm messing it up even right now. I've been out of college for a long time. So I'm glad to talk philosophy though, it's been a while. At some point though, I had to ditch philosophy and get to real life, real results. Real results. So philosophy is good if it's used to get a result, then it's science. Otherwise, it's all talk and all theory. My aim is to scientifically prove the theories that I'm discussing now. The ones that aren't proven yet can be proven, definitely. What's it take? It takes the cheddar. It takes money. Because, and I rant about this in other videos, that's how the educational system works. Here's $1 million to prove that garlic is healthy or whatever. And then they find a way. They find a way by pulling out all the subatomic particles until they blow themselves up, basically. All right, back to the comments. We can afford to learn except what is love ourselves and mind our own business. That's a great lesson. Took me a long time to learn that lesson. I hope that I've learned it by now. I need to, make sure, revisit it just to make sure. Always revisit and review old lessons to make sure they don't happen and become painful. This is in some ways to avoid pain in the future. And taking it back to Jesus, what was Jesus teaching? He taught his followers, his disciples, he trained them before he prophesied that they were going to come kill him, which, was not hard to prophesy because understanding the government and understanding the people, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And he was teaching his disciples on how to go to the different towns and to heal people. And he taught them the message was, the kingdom of heaven is here. Now let's just take a moment to reflect on that. Did he say you have to die and go to heaven? Where did that come from? When did he say that? When did he say that? That's what's boggling my mind. Where did these misunderstandings come from? They didn't come out of Jesus' mouth because all the quotes from him make sense. He spoke in parables. He told people stories because they were hard-headed and he related it to them. I have a really good book actually to recommend. My old childhood friend got this for me. He said a higher power basically told him to send me this. So I got this book and I opened it up. If you've read this before, Panic Fables. And it's from the 60s. And wow, this is very close to what the Bible reads like to me. From my current perspective, this is like a graphic novel. Very simple, crazy psychedelic drawings, but very simple, yet he doesn't come right out and say, this is the message. Well, sometimes he comes right out, but also he tells a story to get the result, to help people get the result, like a therapist or a healer. Someone just asked, is Christianity a for-profit business? Well, a lot of people definitely treat it like one. It's technically not because of I'm working on setting up a nonprofit, and the difference between a nonprofit and a profit, there's one little nuance, one major nuance. Difference is the nonprofit funds go back into the business. If the company gets dissolved, if it goes under or gets sold, no owner gets anything, gets any cash. The people or some other nonprofit have to get it. So that's the only difference. And so really, I have a for-profit business, but I run it like a nonprofit. So it's interesting. And other people run nonprofits like they're for-profits. That's not good. But running a for-profit like a nonprofit is good, according to some people, depending on what the mission is. So that's an interesting question. I think a lot of people abuse religion and don't know what in the world it is. And it's fascinating to me wondering what other people are thinking when, what are they doing if they're not healing people? What are they, people are coming and then going home and then every week and then not healing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? I don't get it. Jesus was healing people. He healed people with leprosy, people were having seizures, people that were possessed by demons, which sounded like epilepsy when they just reading it firsthand, reading it myself, when they were explaining someone, they were bringing someone for Jesus to heal, and they were thrown on the ground into a violent tantrum of convulsions, and they thought they were demon possessed. But he healed them. Why aren't we talking about this? Why are not we, we're probably not doing this. I'm talking about the culture. We're making our own culture right now. This is part of the old cultures. Let's just take every healthy part of every culture and leave the unhealthy stuff out and be multicultural healthy and no cultural unhealthy. So if you can find one, and Dr. Sebi talked about this, he went around the world looking for a cure. When he was younger, he had diabetes and he was impotent. And he was going around looking for healing, and I can relate because when I was younger, I was going from this to this to this, trying to find the answer. And it took years, and also I had traveled around the world, and it's hard to find if you look for it in the wrong way. But Jesus was trying to teach this to people, and the Bible has been, some of it's still in there, a lot of it's still in there, but I don't know if some of it was ever in there and taken out, or if it was written in code just enough for someone like me to read it and go, oh, that makes sense because it happened to me. And sometimes it only makes sense in retrospect. Unfortunately, I'd like to say I have the best faith and I'm the most faithful person, but honestly, naturally, I'm not. But I do have enough faith to persevere. So if you talk about persistence, I do persist. And I must have faith or I wouldn't persist. However, sometimes it feels like faith? What is that? In the past, especially. Nowadays, I realize it's understanding something that you haven't seen yet. And you can use an educated guess that it's going to work in the future. Like the law of attraction. It's a universal law. And only as well as I align myself with it, it will work. You can't get mad at gravity. You can't get mad at the stars. You can't get mad at the weather. You have to use it to your advantage the best you can. And that's what we've got to work with. That's it. So we've got this body to work with. And we've got the laws of nature to work with. And in some ways, we're bound by those, and there's no choice. There's no choosing or opinions that matter about gravity. If someone came on and said, oh, I don't believe in gravity, we would all just laugh at you. It's not a big deal. It doesn't hurt me if you don't believe in gravity. That's why it doesn't hurt me when other people don't go vegan or whatever. I don't care. I care in the way that I love all people, but I can't let myself get wrapped up in things that aren't my responsibility. So My responsibility is to tell the truth, and beyond that, I can't force anyone to do anything, and I'm not interested in doing that anyway. Sounds like too much work and no result. I know because I tried it when I was young. You know, young people try to change others and mistake. Doesn't work. It makes them angry. It makes you angry. There's some saying about trying to get a pig to talk or trying to teach a pig algebra or something like that. It's just going to make them angry and it's just going to make you angry. Sacred Orb said, I'm thankful for your recipes. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm thankful for your gratitude. It helps get the gratitude swirling around. I was not always a grateful person, and it took me some time to become a grateful person, and it's worth it. It works. It's better. Definitely. I recommend it. Especially around this time of year, if you can gather anything from the holidays. I mean, I used to be bitter about holidays because at a young age, I had an awakening at a pretty young age, which is not very convenient because it put me at odds with a lot of people. However, it's never convenient. That's not what we're looking for. If convenience is what you're looking for, my channel is probably not for you. My channel is for people that already tried the easy way and got beat up by life and now learned and squared up. At least that's my personal story. I tried taking it the easy way. I tried avoiding my responsibility and doing other types of businesses, even though I knew deep down that this is what I was meant to do. But it feels so good now that I'm finally doing it. Right now, while I'm speaking. This is me fulfilling my life. So I wish that for you. And the way you do it might not be just like this. It might look different. It'll be unique to your situation, but the basics are the same. You waving at me with emojis? Hello. I appreciate your tuning in and interacting. It makes it much better than just making a video by myself and then editing it and then uploading it. This interaction is really what it's all about. So there'll be more of this, and thank you so much for everyone that thumbs up. It's important for the YouTube algorithm to help spread this positive message to more people. I think this is what people need to hear just from what I've seen around the world. And I'm flexing my message to hit home and to get the better result for you. So that's why I appreciate your feedback so much, because it's all about you. And I have another channel all about me, but actually it's not really showing my face, but it's more all about me just for my enjoyment. This one is for my mission to, if I can help make the world a better place, it's going to be by helping people understand health in their own mind so that I don't have to be there telling them what to eat every time. If they understand biochemistry, at least the basics, very basics, I know that sounds really confusing, but it's pretty simple. In my program, I make biochemistry as simple as possible so that you can understand what's going on inside the body. And that the more people we can help, the better. And also, if you have children, feed them the best foods and don't feel ashamed by the eyes and ears and words and of others judging for what you're doing. do the right thing. There's no easy time to make a hard decision. It's never easy to, and usually the right decision is the hard decision, in my experience. If there's an easy way and a hard way, I'm not saying to go the hard way on purpose just to make it hard on yourself. I'm not masochistic, I'm not saying that, but your conscience knows which way is the right way. And listen to your gut, and one way to listen to it is by cleaning it out. Clean out your gut, and then you'll be more tuned in, because sometimes you're getting a bad feedback from your body in the form of emotions, feelings. Our feelings are coming from our physical body. It's not necessarily coming from the spirit. It's not necessarily coming from the mind. It's coming from hormones that are influenced by minerals, which can be gotten from, especially from the herbs and plants that I talk about on this channel. And once in a while I comment on other YouTube videos, and I comment if you ever come across me on another video, say hi. And almost always, I don't usually ever return to that comment. If people argue with me or whatever on another channel, I just leave it and don't even, who cares? But sometimes I come across my old comment, sometimes it notifies me, but usually it doesn't. And one time, recently I looked and I commented on someone else's video. I know exactly what it was. I'm fascinated by some of the videos where, I watch a lot of food videos, even if they're not vegan, because I'm studying different foods to make for you. And I don't study vegan recipes, I study just anything, and then I make it vegan. Sometimes if I make a vegan recipe that was already, it's like telephone, where it loses the original taste as it goes. So I like to go directly to the source. So I watch these videos from other countries. Sometimes I can't even speak the language, but I like that kind of thing. And I like learning new things. So I watch videos from, some of you have probably seen these ones from Pakistan that are trying different American food. And I usually comment, something is, oh, they're eating unhealthy American food. Sometimes I'm cringing watching it because their health is going to deteriorate just from that channel, and I feel people's pain. If I see them eating marshmallow or something, I think, oh, that's just going to turn into acid in their body, and they're just going to have to detox and feel the inflammation. And so I commented something about one of these guys, Pakistani gentlemen. They're supposedly tribal people. I don't know if they are or if they're just actors, but either way, it's entertaining. And one of the guys, if you've watched these before, you know what I'm talking about. One of them always has health advice, he always says something will cure the cough, or he says something is good for this or that, for sleeping or for men's health or whatever it may be. But he often says things that are wrong that I would not follow ever. But one time he said something that most people wouldn't know, something about the iron and the getting energy, some certain plant having it, and I commented something. There were a whole thread of comments arguing then after my comment about what I said about hybrid plants and minerals. And it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. People say meat. These people and their meat. Oh, blah, 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 meat. And it's just like, don't even respond. These people and their meat, so ridiculous. But someone else was in that thread saying they used to be anemic when they ate meat. And they quit eating meat, and now they're better now. Same situation with me. I used to eat meat, and I was terrible. So I haven't eaten meat in years, and I have so much energy that these trolls, I would run circles around these trolls. So that's just an anecdote from the escapades, Alkaline escapades on social media. It's a farce, usually. And I am careful where I leave comments. I usually don't, but I have been leaving more because the word needs to get out, and it's only selfish if I don't tell people. The selfish thing about it is that I just don't want people to ridicule me. That's selfish. So if I don't care that they ridicule me, then I'll just tell the truth. So it's a little bit of a battle with my ego, but my ego loses the battle little by little each year, and my spirit becomes more powerful. However, the ego is useful. The ego is not a menace. The ego is part and needs to be there. And it's healthy to be there to some degree. It's just that some people are too far on one side of the spectrum. Okay, someone says they're injecting the meat with a substance that will not be able to see if the meat has rotten. Yeah, that's all they do. And then all the spices, the spice trade, how they discovered America and everything. I've been studying recently the oldest cookbooks in the world. More to come on this. I found one, there's some of them that are like $700 for the book. That I've been doing a lot of research, as you might already know, and it continues, the research continues. So I'm researching a lot of interesting things these days, tracing these cookbooks back as far as I can go. And one interesting thing I found, rice has been hybridized for 13,000 years. Now compare that with America. 200 years? Oh, the cute little country, the cute little baby. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And there's Indian history that supposedly goes back 60,000 years. But here in the West, where we think we know everything, not me, not you, but here in the West, where some people think they know everything, scientists and their white coats and their masks, they don't fool me. Your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. I've studied psychology for 15 years. So it's impervious, but, well, let me say why it's impervious. It's impervious because I know my weaknesses. I know humans' weaknesses, and it's not that I ignore the weaknesses or think that I'm somehow too strong to get brainwashed. No, I know how I'm susceptible just as much as anyone else, and that is boom. That was a boom right there, actually. That should have been the title of the video. Only in understanding how susceptible we are to be brainwashed can we fight back. Does that make sense? I know that you can't respond right away. Sacred Orb says, I do not eat rice. Me either. I used to. In fact, Yeah, I lived in Asia for years, and I ate whole sacks of rice, giant 50-pound sacks of rice. Um, been there, done that. No thanks. Would not repeat it. Not on purpose. So I just dropped the bombshell that the point I wanted to make was that we have to stand guard at our mind and understand how it works. So we're talking about the mind. We're talking about holistics, mind, body, spirit. Remember? We talked about spirituality. Well, actually, we talked about religion, but we didn't really talk about spirituality necessarily. Isn't that interesting? We talked about an hour on religion and didn't really talk about spirituality. And that says something. Isn't that fascinating? How does that happen? How can you talk about religion and not spirituality? That's kind of one of the flaws of it, isn't it? Is that if we go back to holistics, body, mind, spirit, the spirit should be addressing the religion is supposedly helping heal people's spirit. But I think the religion was healing people's body. So, no one asked? What do you mean? What do you mean by no one asked? I'm not sure if I'm sorry, I'm reading my screen in front of me. I've got my iPad right here because the comments don't always show up while I'm filming for some reason. So there's sometimes a delay. All of the questions were about religion and Jesus. Oh, okay. Someone did ask about spirituality. If Diandira, if you're still watching, I will go back to your question. You said, okay, her question was 21-year-old wanting to become closer to God. Where should I start? Okay, this is what I definitely would answer. Go back in time when you asked. This is my answer. Fasting. What was Jesus saying? You could read the Bible if you pay attention when he talks about fasting, but they just gloss right over it. Blah, 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 fasting, blah, 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 blah. And they don't really stop and say, like, take your head and put it in the page and go, look at it. He said fasting. That's kind of what I want to do with people. Not Santa Claus, fasting. No, not Easter Bunny, fasting. No, not whatever, prayer, fasting. So let's go back to what he was doing. And chiropractic. Chiropractic, what were they doing? They were laying their hands on people. What does that mean? They were slapping them around? That's what I thought laying your hands on someone meant. Don't lay your hands on me. No, not like that. They were adjusting or massaging. What's the difference, really, if depending on the practitioner, it's different. So what do you think about urine therapy? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I just feel like laughing at it. But I'll look into it if you want me to check it out and let you know. That's a new one for me. I'm not sure. If I've heard about that before, then I have a pretty good memory. No, I don't think I've heard of that before. interesting though. I don't, so you said, I think it's waste and shouldn't be consumed, but Dr. Sebi did it? If you show me the exact clip of him talking about it, I thought I've seen every available material published with him speaking, but apparently not. So I'd love to see the rest of that conversation too, because that means I haven't, that there's other stuff that I haven't seen. I've got gigabytes of it. Yeah, I would think it's waste also. Get it away from me. Are you kidding me? Get it away. It's good fertilizer. I could talk about that. Definitely, but depending on, usually that's how I get rid of stress. So leave it out. If it was meant to be in there, then then I will. Well, wow, that's a curious one. Have to get back to you on that. Have to make a note to research that and let you know. And for the person that asked about, in a previous live, asked about tooth growing, healing cavities or brushing teeth. And I did some research on that I had some information, I'm trying to dig it up where I saved it, and about what to brush your teeth with. And I did find some stuff online about regenerating tooth enamel naturally with diet. Wow, go figure. So one thing off the top of my head that it talked about was oil pulling, which some of you have heard of, I'm sure. And I know that some of you in the comments section were talking about it in a different Q&A. And some of you are practicing that. Let me know if you try oil pulling, if you do it in the comments. It's definitely good. I would recommend it. Actually, I might do it after this video. So you can use coconut oil or sesame oil, and then you spit it out because it draws the toxins out. And the entire thing about cavities is acidity. It's all, when I was researching about the tooth enamel, they kept talking about pH. They kept talking about saliva pH. So your saliva should naturally prevent cavities. Boom! There's another boom. Well, why are people's teeth rotting out of their head? What about the fluoride toothpaste they're using? I wouldn't. Get it away from me. I haven't. They slip fluoride into the water supply too. And they're sneaky. They're sneaky. I would call that satanic. That's Satan's work. Sneaky, and always under the guise of it's helping you. Oh yeah, it's helping you. It's helping you. That's how Satan works. It's helping you. Here, buy this toxic thing. It's helping you. And for the uneducated, they fall for it sometimes. Okay, someone else is weighing in on the urine comment. Interesting. Z-Boy said, Dr. Sebi said something, he drank his urine because it was alkaline. He went blind for 3 days and then had X-ray vision. Wow. What? That's crazy. He said, just kidding on the X-ray vision, he said he had very good vision after the 3 days. There's an herb that I had years ago before I went alkaline, before I went vegan, and I was in university. This is an interesting story. I ran across a barbecue truck. I was walking past the barbecue truck. I wasn't even ordering. And somehow I got called over by the guy, I don't know. There was a guy that had some African herbs in a little bottle. It was a powder. And I don't know what it was. And this was years ago, over 10 years ago. And I tried some of it. I don't remember what the exchange was. Like I was walking by, I got called over to a barbecue food truck by the owner for some reason, and he shared this herb with me. Who knows why. He must have, I don't know. But he gave me a spoonful, and it was some kind of African tree, sawdust. To this day, I don't know. I've been trying to find out what it was because, speaking of x-ray vision, I took a spoonful of it, and he said, usually you don't take that much, you just take a little bit every day. And I remember reading the bottle, and on the back of it, it said like it cured or helped or whatever with almost like everything. It said, depression, PMS, headache, constipate, like every single thing, which at the time I didn't really understand how that could be possible. Now I understand how the body works, and yes, all these things are connected. So oftentimes a really powerful herb will have good results across your whole different parts of your body and noticeable real measurable results, not just fantasy results. So I took this spoonful of African tree powder, which there are many unique trees in Africa that are used for medicine. So I wish I knew exactly which one, because 10 minutes later, something happened. I was with my friend and he didn't take any of it. And I was like feeling it kicking in. And it was like my senses were sharpening. Like in Limitless, that movie that he takes that synthetic drug and his IQ goes up and his full potential comes out. It was kind of like that, not all the way, but a bump. And that guy told me that my vision would improve, and I was like, I don't know what he's even talking about. So that was interesting because after like 10 minutes, he told me to look across look far away at the trees and before I took it, because then once it kicked in, he said I'd be able to see more clearly. And I don't remember that happening. Like that set my expectations a little bit strange. I was expecting for, something psychedelic to start happening in my, eyesight, but that didn't happen. What happened though is that all my senses sharpened, and it's like I could hear and feel and think clearly. And maybe that's something like relatable to, drinking urine, I don't know. I would have to watch that myself and to see the context of him saying it. But I don't want to give too much info, but I have tested my pH before, many times, obviously, and it was really high, like 9. And I said that to someone one time in a comment on Facebook, I think, and they said that I was lying, and they were totally rude to me and total jerk. And I was like, what are you kidding me? You want to come over to my house and check my pH strip? I don't care. What, these people sometimes, these doubters, the non-believers that won't believe the truth. It's interesting. Social media is an interesting place. I would equate it almost to hell, where all the voices are crying out in pain and there's gnashing of teeth, right? That's what I see on the Facebook news feed. That's why I don't go on the news feed, ever. as long as I can help it. That's my technique. I've got, for business purposes, I have Messenger up, and I have the Messenger opened in a full window. If you click the messages and then look at the bottom where it drops down, it says at the very bottom, open this in a full window. Do that, and then never go, and then bookmark that page, and then you never have to go to the Facebook homepage ever again. And you can avoid everyone you know's negative thing that happened, or whoever died that day, or whatever other bad news that people think is really important that isn't. Good news is important. And there almost isn't any, except for the kingdom of heaven is here, now. You mean now? Yes. You mean here? Yes. Have you been living life as if it was heaven? What's it been like? Because I know that I've seen some hellish things in my day, and I'm not even that old. So, but the kingdom of heaven is available. It's available for us to tap into. Z-Boy said, he also said something about cleansing an organ, the liver or pancreas, to give you better sight, because our eyes are connected to it. Yes, definitely, definitely. There are all kinds of, our body is strings, basically, threads of DNA wound together and creating proteins out of minerals and water and hormones. Very fascinating. People pretend to understand it completely, but what are their results? That's what I would say about science, is that look at the scientist and think about if you would want to be them or not. And not that you should want to be someone else, but if I learned in business from my mentor 10 years ago, 11 years ago, don't buy someone's advice unless you want to buy their lifestyle. The same exact thing with health. That's even better with health, I think. Even better than with business. And what they meant was that if you listen to broke losers that are negative morons, they're going to give you bad advice. And bad advice can cost you money and pain and suffering too. Bad advice can cost you a lot. And I've learned the hard way on that too. I think I don't have really many regrets because a lot of the pain in my life has led me to what I'm doing. And I'm grateful for that in a bizarre way. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I see a tangent and a never-ending rabbit hole. So if the liver and the pancreas are important, a lot of people, the liver has to filter every single thing. Every time you eat corn syrup, it just can't handle. Most people's are shutting down. For me, it was adrenal glands. And for some people, it's adrenal fatigue. And those are right on top of your kidneys. And, they're like in your gut, there's so much going on. There's so many organs, and they're all playing a role in how we feel and how we experience life. Your emotions aren't just mental. It's not just feeling bad just because someone called you a bad word. That might be mental. But physical is when you have been eating poorly or drinking poorly or not sleeping well or not stretching enough or not going to the chiropractor. It's a challenge to be one, to be whole, to be Zen, the oneness with everything. It comes and goes as the chakras are aligned. And some people don't understand chakras. All they are, it sounds like one of those BS pseudoscience things. All it means is an energy center. So it's just in the parts of your body where there's a lot of nerve endings, either crossing or coming together. There are chakras, which all it is an energy center of a meridian. Well, meridians are different. And people have mapped these out. This is scientific. It can be, but there are a lot of pseudoscience. I've read books on chakras, and sometimes I would look up from the page and just think, that's nonsense. But there is a lot of good material out there that has truth to it. It's not all pseudoscience. There are definitely energy centers. As a martial artist, you can experience it. And in the high level classes, in black belt classes, I learned about stuff like that. Pressure points, how to knock people out with pressure points, and how to recover people and stuff like that. So there's definitely energy flowing through our body, blood also. And not just blood flow, but our nervous system is very important as well. Our muscular system, it all plays a role. I mean, there's so much going on in the physical body that is amazing. If you try to separate it all, it could be overwhelmingly complicated. But if it's operating properly, it just feels like one thing, including the universe, where there's no boundary between yourself and someone else. Non-duality is what it's called. Non-duality. And that might be more of a spiritual term. Curious what you think about all of this. Are we all one? The ego tells us that we're separate, but something else suggests that we're all connected. ESP, which is extrasensory perception. People sometimes can communicate very well without words, just with vibrations, and we have organs that can pick up information, vibration. For example, there's hair all over my body. What is that there for? It's picking up vibrations and sending it through my nervous system to my brain. Yours is doing the same thing, not just mine. And these hair follicles are a sense of touch. So we can get sense just from vibration. Radio wave, that's vibration. Wi-Fi, that's vibration. 4G, that's vibration. Dare I say 5G, that's vibration. So how are these things affecting us? Are we allowed to ask, or are we being silenced for asking? That's another question that could be asked. And I'm just going to wrap it up if you guys don't have any more questions. We've been live for 90 minutes. If that is accurate, that's an hour and a half. And I still have some tea though, so I'll hang out longer and answer. Okay, awesome. Shina, I could pronounce that several ways, so I hope I didn't pick the wrong one. I read that agave has fructose, which is even worse than glucose. What else can I use as a substitute for sugar? Date sugar, or dates, dried and ground up. You can make it yourself or you can buy it. I have powdered date sugar because I've been making a lot of sweets with it. But agave, kind of reverted. I'm not saying one way or the other about the fructose thing, but the person that told you that, what are they, what are they existing like? Are they someone that you want to be like? Or are they, I'm going to exaggerate, are they just a walking burlap sack of turds, like Rick Sanchez would say? And I know that that's a pretty extreme way to put it, but sprinkling some humor in on the serious conversation. You know, the people that troll about this kind of stuff, are they healthy anyway? Why do we care about what a book says? I'm glad that you found humor in that and didn't take it the wrong way. So yeah, I was told that too, actually, a long time ago, before I went alkaline, before I went vegan. I heard that agave was no good, and I had never tried it before in my life. I only started having it after I went alkaline because, so I only started having it when I went alkaline. And my health improved drastically, night and day. So, I don't have bad experience eating or consuming agave. And I'm very sensitive to sugar. So I think, for myself, I think I would definitely be able to tell if I consumed a sugar that I shouldn't have. I can tell within 10 minutes. So one of the last things that I quit was apricots. And I remember eating them, and I just assumed that it was natural, right? And then I went, oh wait, is this on the list? This was years ago, like 3 years ago. And, it's not on the list. No wonder I'm having a sugar spike. So you can tell if you level up to the point, if you detox your awareness, you'll feel easier. You'll feel what's going on. When you have something that you shouldn't have had, you'll feel bad. If you feel bad, there's usually a reason. We're not born to feel bad. Our body feels pain as a warning sign to fix it. Something happened, like you stubbed your toe, it swells up. The swelling is there to protect whatever happened. The swelling isn't there just for fun, just to annoy you. The swelling serves a purpose. It's a pad to pad on that injury. Is coconut water okay while cleansing? What should we consume during a fast? Okay, two different questions there. Coconut water, not during fasting, but yes, in general, during cleansing. But to be specific, it's about ketosis. You hear people talking about keto, and usually they think they have to eat only meat and stuff like that. Pray for them. Pray for their stomach and intestines and their colon. Oh no. But if you're fasting, the coconut water is going to break your fast because it's got sugar. I'm just saying, I wish I had another word for it, but it's got some kind of sugar. Not cane sugar, not from the cane plant. But so that will break your ketosis. And that ketosis, like, you can feel it. You can feel when you're in ketosis. It feels like, kind of like you're cranked. You're tuned in, keyed up. Napoleon Hill called it in Think and Grow Rich, keying up the vibration, which is very interesting. And there are certain ways to do it. He talked about in Think and Grow Rich that sexual desire is the #1 way to influence our vibration. I would say, well, that he wrote that 100 years ago anyway. There wasn't as many hybrid foods, but diet is a good way to key up your vibration also. And if you drink the coconut water, it will technically break your fast. So it will make you hungry or get your metabolism going, which you don't want really, because it'll just set you back a little. It'll be just uncomfortable. Once you get into the fast, when you get into it, it's easier. So if you break the fast, then your metabolism gets some sugar, then you're going to want more sugar and food. But if you're just cleaning out your diet and your body, you could drink a lot of coconut water and it would be great, because there's some minerals in it. Potassium, manganese, I believe, might be trace amounts of iron. Different coconuts have different amounts of minerals in different countries taste better. I have a cool announcement related to coconuts coming soon. I'll make a video about it in the future. All right, so let's see. Someone said, I'm slowly changing my diet to alkaline. Your channel has actually helped me to transition. Awesome! That's good news. That means my mission is going the right direction and I'm helping people to transition. Awesome, that makes me feel good. And congratulations, because you probably are feeling good too. And that's the real result that matters. I already feel good, so it's not all about me, it's about you feeling good. And then we can all feel good together. What if? What if? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? A bunch of healthy people that all feel good? Wow, what would that be like? That would be a rare occasion, and definitely going to set that up so that we can all experience it. Keep going. Go for it. I encourage you, and whatever I can do, if you're just beginning, since it's been a few years for me, your questions as a beginner are interesting to help me understand what it's like as a beginner. And I try to keep that beginner's mind. That's another Buddhist concept, beginner's mind, that we talked about a little bit a couple lives ago. That to treat life like everything is novel and like everything's fascinating, and it is really. Sometimes we get into the routine and the monotony of the rat race. You know that, right? Bob Marley song. Listen to that song. That's a good song. And it's his satire or his, his artistic way of pointing this out. That it's a rat race. And he's seen a human race, he's seen a horse race, but this is a rat race. And definitely this year more than ever, especially during the holidays, now giving gifts is a great habit. So I used to be kind of like a Scrooge or a Grinch. I used to hate Christmas. Growing up, I was in a lot of pain anyway, and I thought there were a lot of contradictions, like, what does Santa Claus have to do with Jesus, and blah, 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 and it's all really just based around what, like Nintendo and PlayStation back when I was growing up. That's what they're worshiping. They're worshiping Sony and Microsoft. What about Jesus? Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to healing? Whatever happened to fasting and praying? Whatever happened to that? Hello, people, this is what I've been... I know that you're probably just meeting me recently. I've been talking about this my entire life. No joke. Some of these things, not the alkalinity, but that just is the icing on the cherry on top. The alkaline cherry on top. What did you consume while fasting Herbs, tea. I had a lot of, I didn't know exactly what I was doing all at once. I did, one period I ate melon, a lot of melon. And later on I found out that a watermelon fast is a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. I wasn't eating watermelon. I was eating mostly cantaloupe, honeydew. But that's not a fast technically, but I'm thinking back to the first summer that I went alkaline 3 years ago. And sea moss, bladderwrack, burdock, the herbs. I have a laundry list of herbs that I recommend, that I still take. Pretty much everything in my tea video from the other day, but not exactly. Basically, a bunch of herbs and juicing is good if you have never juiced. I don't even think it was a water fast that I did at that time even. To when I healed initially, wasn't a water fast. So it was, but it was more like I quit eating almost everything. It was almost a water fast. I was taking a lot of herbs and not eating any. I definitely had cut out all the other stuff, and then I don't have an exact timeline of how long that I only ate melon. I didn't count the days, but like it was almost like a whole summer. It was like a 6-month period where I fasted on and off. Like I didn't fast the whole time. It wasn't a 6-month fast. Don't do that. But you could do a month if you do it properly with the right minerals and plants, because you have to be getting enough water, plenty of spring water. The quality of the water is important. The quality of the herbs is important. I mean, the better the quality of the herbs, they're going to have more minerals in them. They're going to taste better. They're going to have more minerals in them. So that's a thing that I would say to a beginner, because at the beginning it's kind of weird. Like, what kind of water do I drink? Do the best you can. One of our subscribers has their own natural spring, and I will in the future, but right now I don't. So I buy spring water and I filter water to do some of the cooking, and the rest of it I use spring water. And sometimes I use alkaline spring water, but I just recorded a video yesterday of one spring water I have that is supposedly 8.4 pH, and I'm gonna go grab it really quick because I'm thirsty also. But I'm gonna be right back. I'm just right here, so I'm still here. Don't worry, I'm back. Okay, did anyone tune out? Okay, good. So this one right here, this is the from Iceland. I usually don't buy plastic. Honestly, I'm embarrassed that but I was shopping and I was dehydrated and I went, ooh, alkaline water. So this is supposedly 8.4. But I tested it yesterday and it was not. It was like 7. So bioelectricity. Gotta have your water. I'm not an affiliate of them or anything. I just had an hour massage earlier and I need to drink a lot of water. There's probably a lot of toxins floating around that I need to flush out. So I'm drinking a lot heavily right now, especially. So if you're detoxing, drink tons of water, stretch, sauna, massage, all of those ideally. Not everyone can do all of those, but if you can afford it, do it. Definitely. What's more important than your health? I used to skimp on massages or chiropractors, stuff like that. fail. That's my body. I need it to operate. All I care about these days, and I've been doing business for 15 years, all I care about is my health. That's all that matters. As long as my health is good, then I can work nonstop and I'm fine. So for business, health. I know that most people go about that the opposite way. They work their whole life, they try to make $1 million or more, and then they spend it on health. That wasn't working for me. Oh, some good comments came in. Awesome. Someone said, in the Bible, we are encouraged to fast and pray. It's so good for our bodies and our minds. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's what this whole video was going to be about. So that's the whole point of this video, fasting and praying, which is, well, I know I have a lot of cooking videos, which is the opposite of fasting. However, those are for when you're not fasting and you come back to the socially acceptable food, and I'm trying to make versions that are actually not gonna clog your systems. And these, even though they appear to be modern day unhealthy foods, it's foods that can easily flush out. So it's friendly for when you're detoxing next time. It's not necessarily detoxing at the moment, but yes. Fasting and praying. And what about praying? You might think, do I ever talk about that in my videos? Yeah, I do all the time. I just don't necessarily call it praying. Well, then what do I call it? My oldest videos are all about this. And because my background's in psychology, so I was interested in the mind, the holistics, body, mind, spirit. I was interested in the mind, and then I'm interested in the spirit and the body as well now. So the mind, the way we can control our future through prayer, is so misunderstood, very misunderstood. The way to pray correctly is scientific. This is coming from a psychologist, basically. And you can influence, okay, we're cybernetic organisms. What does that even mean? It means we're goal-seeking. We're goal-seeking organisms naturally. We automatically go for a goal. Just like I just did this with my hand. When you're a baby, when you go to reach for something, your hand goes like this until finally, if it grabs it, then you get a little reward. Either someone tells you, oh, good boy, or you got whatever you were reaching for, which is a reward in and of itself. So then, as you reach for things, your body learns, and then you can reach right for it and grab it. And if you're really quick, you can even do it before the camera can notice you. Wow. So that's cybernetics. That's how to control the outcome with our mind. And my mind is what's controlling my hand. But my hand is over here. So you can control your life with your mind. And the way to do that is with prayer, praying, and some people would call it affirmations. You could call it goal setting. But if you do it improperly, you're not going to get the result, too. Everyone who prays doesn't get what they want. And everyone who does affirmations doesn't get what they want. Why? Why? Well, it's because it's scientific. So it's predictable if you understand how it works. You can get the result every time. So I'm going to drop the bombshell of this is how to get whatever you want. This is the law of attraction that most people don't understand. It's prayer. And it's the law of attraction, as I just mentioned. But the way to do it correctly is what people don't do. Instead of thinking about what you don't have, instead, and it's a slight difference, and it might, to a beginner at it, might miss it, and they might continue doing it incorrectly for years. So really tune into this. There's a difference between wanting and being grateful. That's the difference. When you pray, the prayer is grateful. It has to be for it to work. It can't be covetous. You can't be coveting something that you don't have, because what you're going to get is more of what you're praying for. So if you wish for something that you don't have, you're going to get more of not have. You're going to get more of lack and limitation. And most people don't understand this little, it's just a misunderstanding of how to pray. So let me try to make an example. Let's use money, because a lot of people want money. So, I want $1 million. Is that being grateful or coveting? What do you think? I want $1 million. What do you think? Is that gratefulness or covetous? And I see some other questions coming in. I'll get to them in a second. I really want to make this point. This is very important. And I know there's a little bit of a lag, but I want you to answer what you think. Is it, I want $1 million, is that a good prayer, do you think? Given what I just talked about? I'm waiting for your comments. And it's lagging. Oh well, okay, there you go. Okay, good. Thank you, Shina, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, because your name is the most beautiful word to you. Not good. Okay, good. Now, yes, your comments are coming in. Excellent. Thank you for the participation. So then what's the correct way then? So if wanting $1 million isn't going to work, it's just going to make you frustrated. That's my point. And you're going to have more frustration every time you pray. That's not grateful. You can't be frustrated and grateful at the same time. Impossible. You can't be two feelings at the same time. So gratitude, and I know this sounds easier said than done because I wasn't always a grateful person. So I'm saying this after years and years and years, decades of changing my ways. Now I can be grateful. At first, it's really awkward, especially if you're a negative person or pessimistic or realistic, actually. Even realistic people are actually on the pessimistic side. So believe and Shina said, believe and speak it into existence. Yes, absolutely, because everything was first a thought. Everything was first a thought. Thoughts become things. It's the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich. Jesus was teaching this in the Bible, trying to teach it, struggling to teach it to the morons out there, the masses, which I don't want to label them morons. I love them, and they can still change their ways and learn and become aware. So I used to be ignorant too, and I still am about lots of different topics. I'm only researching a few key things. I don't know everything about everything, and I can't, and I won't. So yes, believe and speak it into existence. So instead of saying something like, I want $1 million, and I made that face and the tone that goes, I don't have it yet, but I want it. That's what wanting feels like, and that's what you're going to get more of if that's what you pray for. So you get what you pray for. Ask and it will be given to you. But that doesn't mean, I want $1 million. That's not asking. Speak it into existence. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened. That's straight out of Matthew. And in fact, it was also in Luke. A little bit different wording. It's worded differently depending on what Bible it's in. But that's the law of attraction, is that you're not going to get anything that you're not looking for. You're not just going to sit on the couch and get $1 million falling into your lap. However, it could randomly happen to someone. It's not impossible, but let's put ourselves at the good odds. We want to do what's going to be the best odds at being healthy, the best odds of being wealthy. And that's everything holistic, body, mind, and spirit, so that we can get the whole picture and feel that Zen that I believe Jesus was trying to say is the heaven that's here now. It's here and now. But are we suffering or are we experiencing heaven? And is it because of our choices that we have been making? So it's a brutal truth sometimes that I created my own sickness years ago by buying what they were selling to me, by buying the unhealthy food. I can blame them for selling it to me, but I ate it. So now I don't eat it anymore and I've got no one to blame. Awesome. And also I prayed for this. I prayed for a healing and I got it. And I want to make that very clear. I prayed for this business or this channel, whatever this career is that I made up. I prayed for it first. I wasn't doing this. My channel wasn't like this at first. And I got the answer to the prayer more than once. I've had all my major prayers answered that I prayed correctly for. So I can attest, give testimony that it works, that the results will come, definitely. And that's what you want. You want results. We're not praying just because someone said to. You're not praying just because Jesus said to do it. We're praying. Why did he say to do it? He was trying to help. He wasn't telling you for himself. He already did it. He was already praying. He was going off into the wilderness and praying and fasting. And they talked about fasting in the Bible, but they just skim right over it because everyone knew about it, I'm guessing. And that nowadays you would have to stop and explain what fasting is to people, because I don't know Christians that fast in America. I know Christians in other countries that fast as part of the religion. Now, how can you be a Christian and not fast? You can't. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not trying to, I didn't say that in a judgmental way. It doesn't compute is what I meant. It just doesn't make sense, because that was the whole point. That was one of the key things Jesus was teaching, right? Go back and read it. I mean, tell me if I'm interpreting it. Howdy, Dr. Strange. Okay, we've got more questions rolling in now. Good. I'm going to get back to some of these that I missed while I take a sip of... Oh, I've got tea and water now. Excellent. Okay, Z-Boy asked, Which juices did you drink while fasting? And then I would say, okay, I don't necessarily call that fasting anymore because some people online will say, no, juicing is not fasting. So just for their argument, that argument's sake, fasting, I would call it cleansing or doing a juice cleanse. Let me think about apple, depending on the apple, and basically none of the mass-produced ones like Pink Lady, Gala, Fuji. Stay away from those. Grow your own, as always, if you can. Everyone can. There's plenty of earth for everyone, I think, but a lot of people live in the city, so you can grow it in a pot in your house. Probably not enough. Get the best source that you can, obviously. I don't grow all my own food yet. That would be nice, though. Cantaloupe. I'm trying to remember what I had the most juice whenever I'm juicing. I love cantaloupe juice. Wow, it's really good. Assuming it's ripe. Unripe cantaloupe is gross. So if you've had cantaloupe and thought it was gross, then it probably was not ripe. Because cantaloupe is amazing if it's ripe. And how do you know if it's ripe? You push on the end. There's a circle at the two ends. Either one, basically. You can poke on the stem or the opposite of the stem, and you can just push on that. When that's soft, it's ripe. And when it's really ripe is the best. Before it starts molding is when it's ripe. And there's a fine line. And I think that's a good point that some beginners don't understand what ripe is. It's right before it's rotten. It's better rotten. So no mold and no discoloration, but you want it to be ripe. And that can be challenging at first. Sometimes it can look overripe, and there's a sweet spot, I feel, with the melon especially, that but yeah, once they start molding, then no good, obviously. But that should be obvious, but might not be to someone. All right, get to the next one. Fasting is a requirement for all of us. The Bible says when you fast, not if. I love it. I love it. Thank you for pointing that out. Great point. Thank you for emphasizing. Exactly. That's what I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way. You don't have to do it because I said so. It's for your own good. Keep that in mind. Wanting is not being grateful. Okay, yes. Going back to the prayer. How to pray correctly. How to pray correctly would be, for example, and this is a little different for you. You've got your own vocabulary, and you don't want to use words that I put in your mouth that aren't going to be natural to yourself. Because your subconscious mind, you want to feed it to your subconscious mind without it noticing. Your subconscious mind just absorbs everything. It's like a recording device connected to all 5 or 6 of your senses and recording them 24 hours even while you sleep. That's what your subconscious mind is. Powerful, eh? And I've got books on that and everything. I studied that kind of thing, like I mentioned. So without getting too deep into the subconscious mind, what you need to know is how to influence it. You can influence it through your conscious mind. Now, your conscious mind is not the same as your subconscious. So, your conscious mind, you think. You can think with and focus on something. Your subconscious mind is just like recording everything. Everything I'm saying is going in there. And, this includes bad things too. Horror movies, violent lyrics in songs. Get that stuff away from me. I studied psychology too long to let that stuff near me. I wouldn't be caught watching a horror movie because I understand the subconscious mind too well. Why would I want any of that stuff happening in my own life? No way. That's like praying for something you don't want. Why would anyone pray for suffering and lack and limitation? Well, most people are doing it accidentally by watching horror movies, listening to violent lyrics, listening to stupid lyrics, video games, books, TV, magazines, media. Interesting, I wonder. All things that are supposedly satanic. Well, I'm starting to understand why. You know, you hear growing up, I mean, I'm a musician, and, you know, rock and roll is the devil's music or something like that, and I just, yeah, whatever, old, you know, that's something some old guy would say or something, but no one explains about what that really means. What does that really mean? When people just say generic things like that, oh, the devil, like in The Waterboy, the devil, they just say that and they don't explain more. And I'm explaining more because I didn't understand those kind of commentary by their teachings. It took me a long time to understand it, and I think there were a lot of gaps that didn't make sense to me, and now I completely understand at least what I'm talking about. So, Shaina just said lyrics are repeated over and over in the mind, including a melody, which is even more dangerous. So we need to be careful with what we listen and subjects our minds to. Yep, you're correct, and exactly. That's what everyone needs to understand. So that's how to change your life at the beginning. That's the mental part of changing your life. Part of it's mental. Remember, spiritual, mental, physical. Part of it's mental. Can't escape that. And that's the part where you need to make the decision, write it down, repeat your decision over and over as if it's now already happening. That's how to pray correctly, which is an answer of another one of your questions. How did you pray correctly? I visualized what I wanted as if it already existed. And to me, that sounds like a no-brainer because I practice that a lot. I'm an artist. When I was a child, I was an artist and a musician. So I always thought I would be an artist and a musician. I didn't know I was going to go into business, but things happen. And things happened which put me into business, actually. But I wasn't necessarily planning on that. And music, I had a lot of negative lyrics in my old music. That's why I'm not sharing it with you. My newer music is instrumental, no lyrics, because I haven't perfected this theory into a poem yet. So I'm collaborating, but that's just, I'm not a professional musician, just once in a while I work on music. Right now I'm working on this channel, so I'm not really playing much music. However, I understand how catchy it is, and that's the way they hook you. They hook it in your mind. I can remember songs I wrote how many years ago? Over 15 years ago. Over half of my life ago, I can remember every lyric of negative songs I wrote. So now how do I combat that? How do I fix it? Well, now I have to ram the positive in, and it's going to take the same repetition of gratitude and visualizing the result of what I want. Does that make sense? visualizing the result of what you want. So it's not the contrast to that, remember, was I want $1 million. Gimme. So this one is I already have it. Thank you. Let's see how my face changed. It was a totally different vibration. Totally different vibration. And theta waves are gratitude. This is what the monks are trying to achieve, achieve is, you could argue with that word choice, but experience or do. Monks are getting that theta wave, that feeling, and you can get it quickly and easily with gratitude. So when you're praying, you should be thankful. And this is challenging at first if you were doing it wrong. And it's only wrong, what makes something wrong, it's the result. So you can tell if you did it wrong by your results. And there's it's, brutally truthful. It's just gonna be there. Life just sometimes gives you things that you didn't think you asked for, but somehow you might have. In a roundabout way. So once you understand how the subconscious works, then you'll understand, oh, that's why I dreamed about such and such. Because our mind connects things in, I could go into schema theory, that's gonna bore people. So, someone asked, how often will you fast and about for how long? Depends on what's going on. And so I have some clients one-on-one that I'm working with, and they all have different things going on. And the first time, it depends how long it depends on how layered up the toxins are. Depends, how old you are, what you were eating, what you've been doing. Longer is usually better, but then again, it depends on if you're getting enough minerals during the fast and everything like that. So there's a lot of stuff to consider, and that's why I should say a legal disclaimer that you should talk to your doctor about it. But some of us might know that most of our doctors wouldn't know anything about it. And some of them would probably just say not to do it because they're not taught about it in medical school. It doesn't seem like they're taught about it in medical school, at least, because I've never heard a doctor talking about it. I'm sure there are. I know there are really good doctors. Some of them do know this stuff. Just the pop culture of, the average situation is that if you ask your doctor about fasting, they probably have never done it before, so they probably have no idea. But I still have to say that you should check with someone that knows you, that has some experience in person. That way you're not just harming yourself in some way. That being said, most people are harming themselves with the food they eat. So any amount of fasting would be better than none. And just to throw it out there without knowing what you're going through, I would say twice a year, just to throw it out there. But again, all those variables are worth considering. And you let your body lead the way, you'll feel good, you'll feel better. And also then when you feel like garbage again, if you do even, you can fast, because that's the answer. Because you'll know from your personal experience what happened last time you did it. Had a good time, it went well, healthy after, do it again. And then it worked again really well, awesome. So start small. If you're really sick, contact someone and go for it though. Fasting is something very natural that no one really does where I live. So again, just to reiterate how to pray correctly, visualizing in picture, from your point of view, not from another point of view. So does that make sense? Okay, close your eyes. Imagine what you want is right in front of you and it's yours already. You don't have to do anything for it. What's your feeling? Let the gratitude flow in. That's the feeling. That's the feeling that's going to get you the thing. And I know that seems backwards if you haven't dabbled before in this, but once you have successfully manifested like this, you're always manifesting whether you like it or not. But most people are doing it wildly without control and don't realize that the negative results that they're complaining about in their life are their fault. And usually I'm the one to wake them up, and then they get upset like I'm waking them up from a nice comfy nap. So this channel is better because you tuned in on purpose with your free will to find it out, and I don't have to poke you and tell you at the bad timing. And I think that's why this is a good situation. It's free, first of all, and we can just give and take until it doesn't work like that anymore, and then we move on. So I'm going to share as much as I can. Oh, knocked over something. It wasn't my tea, thankfully. I'll stay on as long as you ask questions. So Frank, thank you for asking that question. If you've never fasted before, you can also try juicing and see how you feel. Depending on how old you are, there could be years and years of toxic buildup, especially in the digestion. And once that's out, you will feel like a brand new person a lot of the times. Someone asked, do you provide your clients with all the herbs they need for your program, or do you show them where to buy it? It depends on the situation. A lot of the times I have everything, sometimes I don't. But I give you the option. So you can get it from me, but you don't have to. I don't want people to get, turned off by it being overly commercial. I am a business person, but this is more like a nonprofit for me. This is not profitable. Yet, we'll say. It would be great if it was. It would be great. But, doing it anyway. It's the right thing to do. And I feel good about doing it. It also gives me a gratification that I did the right thing with my time. And I think this is the right thing for me to do, is to help answer people's questions, because I'm a know-it-all, I've been told, and I research nonstop. I've been researching most of my life, and if it helps, great. It should, and it's meant to. None of it's meant to be condescending, and if I found things out before you, it's not a race. I was urgently seeking the info for my own things. I wasn't urgently doing it to beat everyone else to the finish line. And what's the hurry anyway? The older I get, the more I realize, what are people rushing around for in life? What are they doing? Rushing to their grave? What do they think they're gonna do? What do they think they're gonna get? This is it. This is life. This is it, folks. There's no secret. There is behind the veil, but you're getting pretty much what it is. And people think that they're trying to like trick the system by rushing around. They're not. They're not gaining anything. And honestly, I'm getting younger as I relax more. And as my health improves, I feel better and younger. I felt in my 20s, I felt like I was in my 80s or 90s at some point, that it was really bad. And I'm not joking. That's what scared me into going down this path. It was the fear of God, I guess that it's called. And I never understood that fear of God thing. I thought that doesn't make sense. Why would you fear God? But no, I get it. No, I get it. Definitely, definitely. It's the wrath of nature. The wrath of nature, that's for sure. And we're surfing on it, basically. We're trying to surf on the waves of life and without wiping out. And I think the way to do that is holistically through what I've been talking about, with the diet, with the prayer, fasting. In my experience, those have worked way better than anything else, exponentially better. And anything that's worked is in my program. There's nothing that doesn't work. There's no time wasting, because like I said, like this is life. This is what we got. This is time. We're spending it right now. So if this isn't how you want to spend your life, no one's forcing you to be here. To me, this is a good way to spend life because it's sharing something that we can all benefit from. And, a percentage of my time I like to be social. We're social animals. We need to interact with each other. We're not supposed to be alone always, all the time. Now, being alone is good. And for some people, maybe they need to be alone and they haven't been. Maybe they don't want to be alone, but maybe they should be. But we are social creatures and we can learn a lot from each other. And I've spent a lot of my life studying this, so it's the time to give back. At some point, I'm going to keep studying for the rest of my life, but I was waiting for a while to, do this channel or to do this program and stuff. I was waiting, and, years ago, I thought, well, I don't know, do I know enough? I don't know anything. Sometimes I feel like I don't know anything when there's so much information out there. But I got to a point where it's like, enough is enough. What am I doing? Hoarding information? I know so much, and what is it doing for me? I need to share it with other people. It's not just like for me selfishly learning as much as I can. What is it doing for the world? It's got to get a result. It's got to get a tangible result in real life. Or what is it even? So speaking of real results, take a minute right now to visualize what you want. And for me, it's happy subscribers. Happy subscribers that have transitioned successfully and feel great about themselves. And then I get a selfish pleasure out of your testimonial. If you tried something I did, like someone tried my caramel brownies and said they were awesome, or caramel cookies, and that makes me happy. So it's the little things in life. It's the little things like that that make life good. Without those little things, it can be a grind, and the reason it's a grind is because other people will come along and order you on what to do. If you don't already have your own plan, someone else will have a plan for you. Definitely. Someone will come along and try to boss you around even if you didn't ask them or didn't want them. And you have to be confident in what you are doing to be able to say, nope, what are you talking about? Get lost. Or maybe you should come to the Alkaline way, and then you convert them. Maybe that's the ideal, but not with pressure, with truth and honesty. That's the right way to do it sustainably, because look at what the other healers are doing out there on YouTube or in the world. Are they healing anyone? I didn't notice. I went to a lot of them and never got healed. I ended up having to do it myself. What does that say? That says a lot to me. And that's why I'm not going to heal you. I'm not healing anyone. You're healing yourself, ideally. Hopefully. Are you? Should ask you, are you? And are you interested in? Because that's what it's all about. I can't treat anyone. I can just share information. Then the information, the idea is in your mind and you can take action or not. That's the reality of what we're dealing with here. That's the situation, is that there's information here, life-changing information, free, potentially. I mean, not every part of it's free. If you pick herbs, if you own land, it might be free. But there are little things that might cost something. And, everything costs something. You have to trade. Sometimes the trade is time. Sometimes the sacrifice is money. Sometimes it's worth it. To me, paying money for something healthy is a good trade. I'm getting a good deal. I'm trading money? What is that? I don't care. Get it? It's paper. What am I going to do? Eat it? What is it good for? It's good for your trading. That's all. It's good for trading. It's really good for trading. For trading for something. If someone has some burdock and I don't have any, but I've got some money, great. That's a win-win situation. And that's why money is good in that situation. If money is used for burdock, great. More burdock. That's good. The person selling the burdock got a reward and I got the burdock. So both people should be happy. Does that make sense? This is how the economy should work. To me, that's a free market and a healthy market. Now, if someone sells something to someone that's not healthy, and then the person feels pain later, then they might regret spending the money on that because it could have had a better use for something healthy. That's how I think about money. It's strategic a little bit, but it's not the money itself. It's what's the result going to be? Nobody just wants a pile of cash. If it didn't do anything, what would it be? It would just be in the way. Would you just pile a pile of napkins or, a pile of papers and feel like a millionaire looking at it? No. So if it was gold or silver, that's another story. Now that's real money. We could talk about that another time, but the other stuff is fiat currency. It's not even real. But that's a distinction that a lot of people don't understand. Shaina said, health is wealth. Absolutely, I totally agree. What's the use of having money and being sick? That's not good. What are you going to do? Wake up and what? Feel pain? What's the money going to do? The money is going to try to feel better. Try to feel better, try to feel better, try to feel better. That's why young people, let's say Hollywood actors or something like that, they make millions of dollars in their early 20s, and then what happens? Almost always, they crash and burn. I totally understand that. It's predictable. because they want to feel good, want to feel good, want to feel good, money, 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 and it works the first few times, just enough to hook you. The definition of addiction is that when you're doing something that's hurting you that you don't want to do. So if you actually like doing it and want to do it, it's not an addiction. An addiction is something that you try to quit and can't, or have a hard time. So people feel good temporarily by spending money, but they don't get a healthy feeling good. They get like a mental, it's not a physical feel good. We're talking about holistics, remember. It's a mental feel good. So it's a short little boost. Or maybe drinking alcohol for a lot of people. Like one time it made them feel good, but then they tried it again and it didn't get the same result. It's because it wasn't the substance itself. It was you. And sustainably going through life and trying to feel good, no one wants to feel pain. I've got back pain. I'm a martial artist. I was doing that my whole life. So I understand why people get sucked into these unhealthy things because of pain, and then an easy way out. They get the temptation, someone tempts them with some easy way out of something, and if you don't know any better, because you're naive, maybe because you're young, or aren't educated or misinformed, which is even worse, and if you think you know something that's wrong, that's even worse. That's why I've got tons of educated people out there. Educated idiots. And your degree doesn't get the result most of the time. The degree doesn't get you the physical health. Maybe getting a degree is good for some people and helps them be healthier. It could possibly happen. But I think most people are expecting something different and doing it for different reasons. Z-Boy asked, what can we use to reverse bald, thinning, or gray hair? I don't know about gray hair, but I do know about balding. It's usually from lack of iron, anemia, which a lot of things are from, and a lot of people suffer from, including me, which is why I'm drinking, taking the herbs. So most of the things that we talk about would be good to help with hair growth. I've heard things that I think are false, like castor oil is supposedly can help regrow hair or makes your hair thicker, but from what I do, I wouldn't rub something on my skin that I wouldn't eat, and I wouldn't eat castor oil because it will kill you. So to me, that seems wrong intuitively, but I know that if you look online, they'll probably say castor oil. But I would say iron, taking more iron and getting it absorbed too. That doesn't just mean taking a pill that says iron on the label. For anyone watching that hasn't watched a bunch of my videos, I need to make that distinction. When I say iron, it means seaweed or plant. Did that answer your question? Hopefully I don't have to find out myself. My hair is one thing that grows well. So let's hope that it continues for the rest of my life. And if my hair goes, then I'll research it more and let you know what I find out. I know most people don't do anything, and I think from my experience, it seems like Loss of hair is from drinking alcohol, it seems a lot of the time, but I can't pin it to one exact thing without a lot of scientific research. And you know that how controversial that would be. There's a lot of money in the alcohol industry. Remember how cigarette companies used to be able to advertise? And now it's illegal? Alcohol companies are still allowed to advertise. Interesting. That's a cultural fail, I think. There's nothing good that could come of that. Except someone getting the money off of some poor, unsuspecting person. The person buying the alcohol is either they want to feel better or they're hooked. That's the two things. They want to feel good or they're addicted, which started with wanting to feel good. And then an alcohol company is just totally taking advantage of that person. And I used to be in the restaurant business and I didn't like it. I did not like the exchange of alcohol for cash. To me, that is unsustainable. Killing the customer! Killing the customer! That's not good. How could I live with myself like that? I had to... That just was not a good business to be in. And if you're in that business, I'm sure you're hard hit by this year anyway. I don't know. I'm lucky that I got out of it years ago and already moved on to, I've got online businesses now that I don't have to, Yeah, I learned the hard way about business as well, but this video is not about business, so I won't suddenly change the subject. It's only as it relates to happiness, health, and wealth, and holistic healing is what this one is about. So if you have any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will start wrapping it up. But how many minutes have we been live? 161 minutes? Is that 2.5 hours or so? All right, my record so far is 3 hours. So if there's enough people asking questions, we can break the record. And I wanted to do a giveaway. So if you're watching, I didn't even announce it at the beginning, but I'll do it now just to reward the people that have been sticking with me for 2.5 hours. That's a long time. And that really helps my channel also. I appreciate that. Also, the purpose of it is for the information to be conveyed, but there's a sub goal of getting the YouTube channel, bumping the YouTube channel. Let's see, someone said, could you come up with a way to make alkaline pretzels? Ooh, yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. That helps point me in the right direction. Oh, some of you that were tuned in on the other live, we talked about birria tacos and stuff like that. I made them and I have a picture. Let me see. I made them and they were awesome. Oh my gosh. Wow. Not to toot my own horn, but I want them again right now. So that went well. I made the consommé, the dipping. I think some of you were tuned in on that live. So I'm going to do a giveaway. Let's see. I don't know what the stipulation is going to be. I didn't plan it out, as you can tell. But I do want to give away this book. Not this exact one. I'll buy you a new one because it's awesome. Also, it's pictures. So you can see really simple, colorful messages that are really impactful. And someone got this for me as a gift. So I want to pay it forward, and I've already paid it forward, and I've already given this as a gift already, but I feel, generous in the spirit, in the holiday spirit still. And It's called Mystic Teachings and Initiatory Tales. And wow, he nails it. He really nails it. It's not about alkaline diet, but it's about the other stuff we talk about. Wow, and they're like, he doesn't come right out and say the moral. It's in there in a parable, in a little comic strip, and each page is one thing. Like this was published in the Sunday in some magazine in Mexico, I believe, in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, for 6 years. And this is every Sunday, all put together in a book in order. So the the first one is the first one he did. So each page is like one comic and one like story, one moral lesson. And then the next page is like another lesson, comic strip. And I don't think, is it copyright infringement just to flash that on the screen? So this is awesome. And yeah, I'm gonna get it for someone. So let me think about what the rules are for the giveaway, and then I'll send you off to complete it, and then I'll pick someone. I could just get this for everyone who's live right now. Let me see, how many people have we got? How much money do I have in my pocket? I want to do any of you, are you familiar with Mr. Beast? I mean, he's like the biggest YouTuber right now. What have you been living under a rock if you don't? But it's totally different kind of type of videos than I make, definitely. But I look at that, I research that kind of stuff for the YouTube aspect of my research. I was researching YouTube for a while to figure out how to finally get followers. And I did research it like for a year, and I figured it out. So now I just have to put in the work, which I'm doing right now. And thank you. Okay, so who's gonna win this? First of all, does anyone already have it or has already read it? Because for someone that's already has it, but I've never even heard of this, so it's likely that no. Oh, you have it? Z-Boy, do you have this book? You said yes to something. I don't know which thing I said that you're saying yes to. I'm curious. It is a good book, and just for transparency's sake, I'm not finished reading it, but it is awesome already. So, someone said, have you thought about making alkaline hot dogs? Oh man, why does that sound so good? That sounds great for some reason. I do make sausage. I've thought about making it into a link, sausage links. I've seen other vegan channels doing that with like seitan or some kind of like wheat gluten, which obviously keep it away from me. Oh, you've never had this book? Okay. I'm trying to think of what I would make it out of that wouldn't crumble. Yeah, if I come up with something for hot dogs, I will definitely do that, because that sounds pretty good, and I could have my dad test it. Last time I was in New York City, and he got a hot dog from a street vendor, and I was like, are you my family? But anyway, I probably shouldn't be talking about him behind his back. I love you. So anyway, yeah, hot dogs would be cool. I could influence my family that aren't vegan yet. if I can get it really tasting great. I mean, ew, if I think hard about what they are, it's so disgusting because I actually know what they're made like. And one of my family's friend worked at a butchery years ago, and they processed chicken and hot dogs and stuff. And okay, that's far enough. I won't even go into that because I'm already getting grossed out. So let's change the subject. Hot dogs. Yes, I do make my own ketchup. I used to have a blog that I am thinking about putting back up. So I might put the blog back up, and there's some recipes on there that are not on my channel yet, such as ketchup, pizza, and so on, and stuff like that. Veggie burgers. Those are 3 pretty good recipes too, that I think because I blogged them already, that it's in my head that I kind of already did a video, but I didn't do the video, I just blogged it. So I will turn my old blog back on, but not right now. I'm gonna wait till I get some, maybe when the channel gets monetized. I'm close to monetizing the channel, which means I'll be able to make money from ads, which we'll see how that goes. I don't want it to ruin the credibility and everything. However, I do want to benefit, not just my ego, but I think it's fair to be monetized, and it would be awesome, and I could reach more people. And also, I was talking about Mr. Beast. The reason I mention him is because he put all his money back into his channel, and he's making millions of dollars a year. I saw one video that estimated him making almost 100 million a year. Can you believe that? Manifest it. I just taught you how. And unfortunately, he just launched a fast food burger chain. So he's going down the dark side, but anyway, not judging. Hopefully he redeems himself. I made a video challenging him to take my program, because I thought, wouldn't that be great if an influencer, a social media influencer, took my program and changed their life? Wouldn't that make the world a better place? Just, I wouldn't have to work so hard. Now, they're an influencer already. They can run around telling everyone. So that would be great. That would be great. And I think Mr. Beast is a cool person, and I challenged him to take my program because he was talking about in an interview with Casey Neistat that he has a chronic disease that would be, I can't say a medical claim, but you know what, wink wink. He would feel better after, that's for sure. That's an understatement, but that's the result people need. So someday if you're watching this and you're famous or an influencer, then take my program, because it'll help the rest of the world. Because, small-minded people are influenced easily by glittery objects, and that's what our society is like right now. But I think it's shifting to health is wealth, and we're evidence of that. Let's make an alkaline burger chain, said Z-Boy. You know that I've already thought of that, of course. You have to know. But yeah, I've thought of it, and hey, yeah, if you want to help me, please do. Right now, I owned a restaurant before, and I would not do it the same way. If I was going to do that again, it would have to be extremely well planned out. Shina said I should reach out to as many influencers as possible. Definitely. Absolutely. And you're helping me by watching and liking, because more people will see it. And you know what? Eventually they'll find my channel. If everyone likes it and shares it, eventually the right people will find it. I've foreseen this already. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, and I was trying to rush it when I was younger. So right now I'm just getting into the zone, staying one foot in front of the other, one live video at a time, one recipe at a time. And I did that one challenging Mr. Beast. If you have any other influencers in mind that you think I would get along with enough to get them through my program, because that's really what it is. Are they gonna take it seriously? So what type of influencers out there are, and I'm stretching my back a little bit because I've been sitting in a weird spot for your entertainment value, as this really, I'm like sitting on the floor right now in a suit, which is kind of funny. But I'm just doing a little bit of a stretch. Actually, I should show you the stretches that when my back starts hurting, what kind of stretches I do. Let me point this down a little bit. If you don't know Kundalini Yoga, that's one thing that I would recommend checking into. There's some good getting your spine. Basically, I'm sitting in Indian style right now, and you can roll your spine. It's like a cobra. The Kundalini has multiple meanings. One of the meanings is a cobra. Another one is your body part. It's your root chakra, the number one chakra, if you know about that. And if you don't know about that, what's the appropriate name for that? I'm trying to think of the scientific name, because it's a weird part of your body that has a funny name. Yeah, I don't know what the scientific word for this part of your body is, but it's your root chakra. If you don't know what your root chakra is, just type it in Google. And I usually don't trust Google for health info, but I think Google will at least know what a root chakra is. So Z-Boy and I are gonna make an alkaline burger chain with your help. I have some recipes, obviously, that I've been working on. I have some that I didn't put out yet for burgers that are my friend's mom tried them. I made them at my friend's house, and they were raving about it. Like, they were raving, like, wow, you should start a restaurant. Wow, this and that, about the patties, the sausage. And yeah, I've definitely thought about it. I've thought about doing a food truck. I don't want to enslave myself, though, again. When you have a restaurant, I'm going to be there in a food truck 24/7. And yeah, it would be cool for the YouTube, actually, if I had GoPro in there documenting it. But, I'm working on it. So if you think you're the right team member to make that happen, I would consider it. However, I have some big goals for like a nonprofit that might be better, but it's just hard to find the people that are willing to put in the work. When you start talking about nonprofit, it sounds all nice and fine, but everyone tells me how noble I am, and then they disappear because they're, I don't know what. It's daunting. Like some of my goals are so big that it should scare you. In fact, if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. That's what I teach about goal setting, and that's what I've learned about goal setting. So let's do it. Well, we haven't met in person yet. We should probably talk a few times first. But yeah, without giving my binding agreement, I'm totally into the idea. And if anyone's going to be able to do it, it's going to be one of you. if anyone's gonna be able to actually make some of it. Ready? You are seriously? Well, actually, are you in LA? Do you have connections that I don't know about? I've planned this out already. I don't want to dump my whole business plan for all of YouTube to see. But if it ends up being a nonprofit, then it's not really, I'm not worried about someone stealing the idea because it's a nonprofit. And it's not about me, it's about just helping the world. So, what I wanted to do before this thing happened is to just start feeding the people my food, start having events and raising money, charity events, an alkaline, like when people were still allowed to gather in the same room. Hey, remember that? And then people can eat the food. I want to put it in their hand. I want to see it going in their mouth. To me, that would be the result. Seeing the people eating my food. And it's not that I personally made it. It's that I know it's healthy. So I don't have to be the one cooking it. In fact, I shouldn't be the one cooking it because I've already started more than 10 businesses, and I know my role. And I would be teaching the person that's cooking. Definitely. I think you don't want me necessarily cooking it, although it would be funny. If someday maybe I'll do a live cooking where well, it would be good entertainment value, but Gordon Ramsay is notorious for flipping out and screaming at people and stuff like that. And honestly, that's how I am in my especially when I was younger. So it would be funny to have me like screaming at people to, what are you doing with that broccoli? Throw that crap away or something. I'm just thinking as a TV show, it would be funny. When I wanted to film everything at my old restaurant, I wanted a GoPro in every corner, and I usually don't have regrets, but if I could go back in time, I would put a GoPro in every corner and just live stream that place because it was hilarious. I have so many stories. I was on an island in Asia, and like people would come from all over the world. There were people from the Netherlands, people from India, people from Sri Lanka, Korean people, Japanese people, Americans, Canadians, Brazilians. Who else did I meet? Man, I met people from everywhere. Nepal, everywhere almost. I've almost met someone from everywhere just while I was in that business. So that was the good thing about it, is that I got a lot of information from all over the world. And that's where I met an Indian doctor who works in genetic engineering, actually. And he was one of my friends there. And that's where I got a lot of good info from. India has history way earlier than ours. And, we think we know everything in the West, like I said earlier in the video. All right, did I break the record? I'm waiting till almost everyone leaves so that I can give away, so I can give this away to the last remaining people. And I've only got a few people left. So did I break my record of live yet? It's showing me in minutes and not hours, so I have to do some math. 3 hours would be 180 minutes. I broke the record! My longest live. I'm competing with myself from past. That's how I am. All right, well, let's see. Let's do rock, paper, scissors with the people in the chat and see who wins. Oh, wait. Here's an even better one. I'm guessing a number between 1 and 5. I'm guessing a number between 1 and 5. I'm going to wait till everyone guesses before I'm going to comment or react. I'm not even going to raise my eyebrow if you get it right, but I picked the number already. Okay, one person answered. 2 people answered. Not leaving. Thank you for watching. I love it. I appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. It really does. Okay, 2 more people didn't guess a number yet. Guess a number between 1 and 5. Frank guessed 4 and Shaina guessed 2. Who else is gonna guess? I'll give you a time limit. You have to guess a number within the next minute, 30 seconds. I know that there's a lag. It'll be 30 seconds for me, it'll be a minute for you. Okay. There's one more phantom person out there that didn't comment yet. Give them a few more seconds, just in case they have never commented on YouTube before and don't know how. Or maybe they're not logged in and they can't post comments. I'm not sure. Give them a few more seconds. Does that show still exist? Shaina said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Time is ticking. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I didn't see the last person that's watching's comment. So the winner that is no one guessed it, which gives you a clue that it was either 1 or 5, obviously. So guess again 1 or 5, and I'm going to do a second prize for this one. 1 or 5, which one is it? What do you think? Was it 1 or was it 5? All 3 of you get to guess. There's a lag, I'm waiting. Okay, Shaina guessed 1, Frank guessed 5. Z-Boy is still thinking, and I'm rocking back and forth just because my back. I'm doing a mini cat and cow. If you do yoga, you'll know what I mean. There's a stretch I learned from ballet, which I didn't study ballet personally, but I have studied stretching from people who studied ballet. So the ballet stretching routines are great. And one of them is really interesting, where you do your low back in and out like this. It's a good one. Okay, Z-Boy guessed 1. Frank, you are the winner! Yay! Perfect. this is what you won. You won this graphic novel, which is kind of like the Bible, but more fun to read, I guess. So you can contact me and give me your address on Facebook, or yeah, you should probably just join my Facebook group. That would be the best. And also, next giveaway, I should make the requirement to join my Facebook group, because that would be help grow the group. And I'll do another giveaway next time. Don't worry, Shina and Z-Boy, you two are awesome. As I get more and more wealthy, I will share it with you. That's my commitment. And I will, so I'll do more giveaways, and I'll give out more stuff, especially when my channel is monetized. I want to put it all back into the channel, which is basically what that means is reading books. You know, I'm researching these old cookbooks from thousands of years. Oh, so one of them's 1,000 years old. Some of them are different. Some of them are $700. Some of them are like $100 for an old book just because it's not in print anymore. That's really interesting, isn't it? So that's the kind of research, is just my time and effort mostly, and a little bit of money for books, herbs, food, stuff like that. I'm going to be putting back into the channel to share it with you. And I want to give out, actually, the two runners-up. I just thought of something I can give you both. So I will give you some herbs that I have. A little, just a sample, like, don't get too excited. But I'll give you some of these detox. Well, they're just, I don't want to label them too much but they're plants, and they're for helping with the digestion detox especially. So that's for my two runners-up. So Shina and Z-Boy, oh, Z-Boy, you're not on social media, are you? Other than other than YouTube. You should definitely not post your address on here. So you can get a hold of me if you want to talk more about a fast food chain. Contact me. There's a link in the description, and I am interested to talk more about that. Definitely. I don't want to just give you all my ideas without meeting you and all that kind of thing, because, and I'm not, you know, I like to investigate, so I will probably investigate you, but it's for my own good, because I've been tricked many times in business, and fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I know it wasn't you, and I know you're probably a great person, but my tendency to give people the benefit of the doubt is no longer. Nope, not anymore. No one gets the benefit of the doubt anymore. As far as like business partnerships go, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt as far as just being a human being. But if you know, we're going to partner on something, let's face it, it's not going to be easy. So there's going to be a lot of work to do, and we need to be able to get along and get the mission accomplished. So if that, you know, if you've been watching this many times, it's a good sign that we're compatible to work together. But I just don't want to give any expectations other than I will definitely talk to you about it at the very least. All right, well, awesome. Well, man, I did way longer live than I've ever done. Frank won a gift. We're all happy, and you two get to win. So Z-Boy, reach out to me, and yeah, I'll rocket fuel you up. And then, Everything is, everything iron is rocket fuel. So Shina, the best way to you can get to me in the link in the description, or you can join my Facebook group. So Z-Boy's not on Facebook, so that's why he has to get a hold of me another way. Awesome. Well, I'll look out for you in the group, and then I'll be able to message you on Facebook. Or you can just find me at the Alkaline Life Coach or the Alkaline Chef on Facebook. I'm all over the place. Most of the work I do is on YouTube right now, but I'm available on Facebook. You can message the Alkaline Life Coach page. It's a page, and that message will actually get through to me the quickest. But if you're a bot, don't message me. All right, that being said, I think we really went for it this time. Wow. Over 3 hours of live and a giveaway. Thank you for tuning in. We'll do more giveaways. Maybe I'll give this away again. There aren't that many cool things to give away because I'm such a picky consumer that will only eat alkaline things. And, you know, I barely watch movies or anything. I read nonfiction. So, you know, most people would be bored that kind of stuff. But, yeah, this one is good. Hi, April. Welcome. Haven't seen you on my live yet. We're just ending it right now. You missed it. All right. Well, see you in the next live. I should be doing another one next weekend, but I went live like 3 or 4 times this past week. So make sure to put the bell notification on after you subscribe so that you'll be notified when I go live. And that way you can tune in and ask the questions. Oh, April, you love this topic. And oh, you tuned in late. Oh man, you do. We've talked about this actually before. Yeah, this is a good topic. Well, I talked about it for over 3 hours. But we can definitely talk about it again. If you have any input or questions, let me know now before I tune out. There's still a few people watching. I talked a lot. Oh yeah, YouTube has a replay. Yeah, you can watch the 3-hour video on it. Thank you for tuning in. Well, thank you everyone again. I appreciate it. And the channel's been growing a lot, so we're on the right track. I'll keep making recipes from your suggestions. Here's some recipes to look forward to that I have filmed and are being edited. Snickers brownies, which were just layered thick. I could show you actually. I've got them. They're in the kitchen, but that's coming soon. Which was made with the alkaline marshmallow. I'm gonna have a separate video on the alkaline marshmallow. Just in case someone wants to make it and doesn't find the brownie recipe. There's a caramel recipe there was caramel in the brownies, but it's a softer caramel than in my other video. It's a different caramel. It was better. I finally did it really well this time. And then what else did I make? I made the birria tacos with the consomme. And that was, that soup, that consomme was so good. I ran out of it earlier today and I'm sad. That was so good. It was even, the consomme was better than the tacos. I mean, the tacos were good, but wow. Oh, and then I'm gonna have another was just on tortillas. So I made spelt tortillas and actually went well this time. So I was a little bit intimidated, so that, I was afraid that they would get all cracked and weird, because spelt is sometimes too dense and doesn't fold, but I pretty much nailed the spelt tortillas easily in like 5 minutes. That was easy. I'm really happy about that, actually, because I like some tortillas, and corn is no good and wheat is no good. And I saw some at the health food store yesterday that said chickpea tortillas, and I was like, oh my God, chickpea tortillas. Oh, flipped it over. Guess what the second ingredient was? Oh, that's what I should do my giveaway. Guess the ingredient. That'd be a good one in the future. Have people tasting food and have them guess the ingredient. The second ingredient was tapioca starch, which is terrible for you and super starchy, obviously, enough to be called starch. So that's no good. And then I saw some other ones made out of something that wasn't wheat, but it had starch in it too. So I'm really happy to make spelt tortillas and have those available. And they were so easy to make that you just throw them together and boom. You don't have to, I have a tortilla press, but a rolling pin, it's easy. It's very easy. And I was a beginner, so I got the tortilla press because I wanted them to be perfect and circles. And yeah, it works really well. Those are pretty cheap too. It's not much. It's ancient technology, just a flat metal thing. So those are awesome. And the birria tacos, the consomme, what else did I make? I think that's tortillas, consomme, marshmallow, caramel, and then the brownies all together. Yeah, so there's 5 or 6 recipes coming out that I already made, that are already filmed. So stay tuned for those, and then let me know what you want me to make in the future. Someone suggested something a little bit ago, alkaline hot dogs. What else? Who suggested something other than alkaline hot dogs? Pretzels, okay. Okay, so alkaline pretzels, alkaline hot dogs. Sounds like beer snacks. Sounds good though. I think I can definitely do that, is what I meant to say. Pretzels will just be, I assume, spelt and rye or maybe chickpea flour. And then I would put them in a pastry thing and swirl them in little things. You want the pretzel rods, or like the big fat pretzels, or like little crunchy, like, thin, like pretzel shape, thin beer snack with salt on it. Which one do you prefer? I used to like, when I was a child, I used to like the pretzel rods. I totally forgot about those, that they even existed. It's been a long time. I think that sounds very easy to make. Put a glaze on them and some chunky sea salt. It'd be nice to munch while I'm editing videos. Alkaline Penang curry. Ooh, what is Penang curry? I have made curry on my channel. What is Penang curry? What's the, feature of that makes it? I'll look it up later, but I'm curious. I love curry. I will definitely make curry over and over again. Yeah, curry, it took me years to learn how to make curry. It took me years, literally about 8 years, to finally make a good curry that I could finally be happy with. A red curry with peanuts. I'm salivating. Okay, interesting. Peanuts? Are the peanuts sprinkled in it? Are they ground up in the sauce? Are they salted? Or are they roasted? I'll look it up, but yeah, it's interesting. That sounds great. I'll probably use Brazil nuts instead. But love me some Brazil nuts. All of the above, please. Penang curry. That's what I want right now. Wonder if I have what it needs. It depends, because a lot of the curry spices are not, like turmeric and alkaline donuts. Yes, this is being worked on. Definitely. That's definitely been thought of and being worked on. I was thinking Brazil nuts too. Yeah. Yeah, I'll look up Penang curry. That sounds good. I want it right now, actually. Actually, I have to get off. I have to leave because this is my cutoff time for eating, and I haven't eaten all day, so I better eat now. It's 8 p.m. What's going on? What happened? Did I go live for 4 hours? What is 200 minutes divided by 6? Wow, almost 3.5. Wow. Let's set a world record for live stream. Has someone done it already? Do I have to be awake? Then I have to take a nap in between questions if it goes for more than 12 or 15 hours. 15 hours is usually about my limit, but we'll see. We're gonna do live events in the future where I will be probably going 15 hours, but you'll be there in person and we can all eat the same thing. It'll be awesome. And then I'll give away a ticket to that. That would be worth probably, well, if we do it at a resort, it'll be a little pricey. But if we find somewhere to donate us their space, then maybe we could do it for pretty affordable. I'm working on that. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it later. Thank you so much for all the support. Without your comments and support, this would not be happening. I'm just telling you that I really, the more that you give, the more, it keeps going back and forth. So keep commenting and liking, and I'll, work harder. And that motivates me. It motivates me to know that I'm on the right track. So until next time, have an amazing day, have an amazing night on purpose, and keep thinking up good alkaline food ideas, and I'll keep making them. See ya. Make sure to get a hold of me if you won the giveaway. Don't forget,